Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. And I gotta say, just at the start of this game, that worker split looking good from Mulebot, our Terran contender today. And taking on Mulebot is going to be Dodo, the rapidly improved Zerg bot, overshadowing its big brother Zozo, in the sense that Dodo's been getting all the love, all the updates, all that good stuff, whereas Zozo isn't active on the AI ladder yet. As last I checked anyway. I can do another quick check, but I do believe that Zozo isn't active, and that is correct. And so, yeah, very exciting to see the progress that this Zerg bot has made. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you enjoy these bots. If we can get 1 like for every build that Mulebot has, that would be amazing. Mulebot is a bot that's got a ridiculous amount of strategies, which is why I thought we'd have a rematch between these two, as Mulebot kind of just got Dodo with the proxy battle cruisers. And so we'll see if it can repeat that success in another game. And so, yeah, leave a comment if you guys haven't already, saying more bots, as though your comments help us get the word out of these bot games. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click that button. And then, yeah, just big thanks to everyone that does support the channel via the YouTube membership, making these daily casts possible. And yeah, let's see. We do have Dodo scouting out, as it does find this ridiculous double factory proxy from Mulebot. I don't think human players are able to get 2 factories up by the 2-minute mark, but speed mining does wonders, as we've got that first factory on the way from Dodo. And that is actually just ridiculous. The fact that it's already got 1 factory done, the other one about to finish up, a couple Marines produced. And Mulebot is going to be wanting to produce a tank as quickly as possible, as Dodo does have roaches out. Very good scout finding this. This 1 factory actually gets delayed, and we have yet to get a siege tank started up for Mulebot. I'm not sure what it's hanging up on, as, yeah, Mulebot has yet to start up that siege tank or anything. So this SCV, it's hanging out here. It's like, oh, what do I do? There's a bunch of roaches by the factory. And Mulebot's build seems to be a little bit hard stuck. Dodo actually doing what it did in a previous game that I kind of criticized it for, in the sense that it pulled those roaches back for a minute when it definitely didn't need to. Meanwhile, Mulebot seems to have given up trying to resume that other factory, but it is producing a tank out of this one. And then going for an expo back at home, as this 1 tank is about to pop out here for Mulebot. We'll see if the roaches just pounce on it or not. Generally, pouncing on something like a tank is a good idea, at least as far as these numbers go. So will Dodo do that? Looks like the tank pops out. It is going to siege up, and the roaches are not actually prioritizing that. They can indeed see the tank, but instead they are just attacking the building. I mean, they can burrow to be safe. However, unfortunately, friendly fire from the tank can kill those burrowed roaches. So we've already seen 3 go down, despite burrowing, trying to save their lives. So these burning buildings are doing a great job buffering and buying this tank some life. Now that tank is also out of vision now at this point for Dodo, so it's got no idea that that's really there, as it just shells away. Tanks can shoot farther than most units' vision, so that is what gives them such great strength. Now, Dodo behind this does have a second base finishing up. It's getting a lair on the way. Mulebot does have, let's get that vision going, a 3rd command center just about, well, just building on location. The natural is done. We've got +1 on the way for Mulebot. Now, Mulebot, it has built more production back at home, so good redundancy behind this cheese with a triple barracks play. Lots of marauders on the way. And then Dodo's still struggling to deal with this. This factory will begin burning down. as I guess the other one must have been canceled amidst that chaos. This one will eventually burn down. I had no idea how this rush was going to go, but I didn't expect one tank to basically just end up chilling after killing 11 roaches, because the roaches didn't realize the tank was there. So as always, these bot games are a little bit chaotic. We do have overlords flying on in past this healing zone. I didn't realize that this was a line of sight blocker on the healing zone. I really should have. At least on this map, there's a flyer blocker, so I guess you probably can't get units like battle cruisers in there, which is good to know. I should have realized that sooner, thanks to the YouTube commenter who pointed that out. Yes, I read your comments. And yeah, we do have tunneling claws now on the way for Dodo. Meanwhile, Mulebot just producing lots and lots of marauders. Well, a reasonable amount of marauders. It's only got 4. It's got the means to make many more, as it's just getting up more production. We do have a Viking on the way, which could be very good for killing off these overlords of Dodo. That factory will eventually burn down, and it's gone. Dodo, meanwhile, just macroing up off of these 3 bases, going to try and keep pace with the triple command center play of Mulebot. Now, Mulebot, it does have more marauders on the way, +1 attack just about done. And it does seem that both these bots are just macroing up, so we could have an interesting clash in the future here. Looks like, oh, Dodo was planning on building that Nidus, but it actually didn't happen. Okay, another drone gives it another attempt, and that Nidus does indeed get built. So we may get some Nidus speed mining from Dodo. This gold base is looking mighty fine for that. Possibly this base in the upper right. Dodo sometimes prefers that. Mulebot has begun sending out some scouting units. You've got to like this, as it just sort of takes control of the map, sending Marines every direction, finding many of these overlords that Dodo sends out so it can drop those Niduses for the Nidus mining. There's now some Spore Crawlers being built. SCVs are rallying over here. I'm not sure what that was for. I had a feeling they were trying to repair that Viking. Now, Dodo does indeed drop the Nidus at this base, prioritizing the gold, which it didn't do in previous games. So I'm wondering if that was done in an update by the developer. Previously, it had prioritized like the upper right instead of the gold base, so I'm a big fan of that. No drones are in this Nidus yet to begin that Nidus speed mining, but we do have a Marine at the 4th base just shooting away. And then, yeah, just both these bots continuing to power up. Mulebot is producing a lot of units. It's not getting really up any higher tech. No reactor on that starport. As I say that, there's a random tech lab, so I'm not sure what it will use that for. Maybe a Raven, something like that. We do get a Medivac on the way, as Mulebot is just keeping its unit production going. This Nidus has kind of been bullied a little bit, as just single Marines are being sent out all over the map, which is quite powerful in regards to how many of these overlords are being found. Dodo has now lost, well, 3 overlords, which is not insignificant. This Marine is being a nuisance. Some roaches will shut that down. It's like a Liberator is harassing inside the main base of Dodo. Mulebot going to try and get some damage done with that. There is indeed 2 queens, though, to deal with that. One of them even had tons of transfuse energy, which is good for Dodo to handle that, so good programming to respond to that. There is drones in the Nidus, but they don't want to pop out due to this Marine being here. So mission successful from Mulebot in shutting down a big chunk of Dodo's economy. As I mean, if we take a look here, like that is, I don't know how many drones were in that Nidus, but it was a lot. And now the drones, I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. It looks like we do have a bug from Dodo's Nidus mining, in the sense that there's no Nidus to do mining from. And the drones are just popping in and out of the Nidus still. They are unsure of what to do. So these drones could just be in purgatory forever. This is some sort of hell for them, popping in and out. No actual mining going on. This just highlights the troubles that you may face as a bot author when you try and do cool things. Dodo does have 4 bases up. It's getting a 5th base. We've got 160 supply to 147. Mulebot has got lots of bio out. We are getting ghosts as well, which is very neat to see. Dodo, though, it's going to have infestors and just a lot of roach hydra, which isn't terrible against bio. However, the bio does have better upgrades presently, 1 to none. 1-1 is on the way, though. Armor's on the way for the Terran, so we will have even upgrades down the line. Now these queens are kind of being caught out without support. Roaches are skirmishing and just retreating, leaving the Hydras to their own devices. Looks like a few Marines on the right side are kind of distracting Dodo a little bit. We haven't had another attempt at a Nidus, so I'm guessing those drones are still just popping back and forth. Now, the efficiency of Roaches and Roach Hydra is still pretty darn good against just bio without any tanks or without, say, critical mass. We've got Double Cloak on the way from Mulebot. Mulebot is a cool bot that tends to get all the upgrades and stuff. So we've got a 5th command center on the way, but we're getting Ghosts, a Raven, Personal Cloaking, Cloaking Field. Combine those upgrades. Come on, Blizzard, do it. And then, let's see, Hydra's hunting down this Viking, which kind of just parked there for Mulebot. It does eventually get found. Now, that did pull the army of Dodo out of position, so Mulebot is coming in here. Snipe goes down on a couple of eggs, which is interesting. I'm wondering if that's just because eggs are technically units and Mulebot is programmed to snipe units. That's definitely some interesting programming there. But Dodo does seem to be in quite a good spot with this critical mass of units. Ghosts are cloaking. However, that cloak quickly runs out with the energy. Raven comes on in. That's going to help reveal these burrowed roaches. But man, oh man, Dodo does have a lot of stuff. And I think Mulebot may have got a little bit aggressive there for a bot that didn't have that many units. Dodo's coming in, putting pressure on. We've got a couple of scouting Marines. They get shut down. And Mulebot is in a world of trouble now. Another Raven's about to pop. We've got 3 command centers building as Mulebot craves the mule. But a lot of SCVs are going to die here. The Terran isn't producing any tanks, which, dare I say, are a requirement for dealing with Roach Hydra. And particularly with Infestors in the mix, we've got 2-2 on the way for both sides, or we did, as one of those eBays does go down from Mulebot. As well done, Dodo, getting some good damage done to its opponent. We'll see how far it takes this, as Mulebot is just not producing enough stuff. Like, it's building a Thor, just investing in too much tech here throughout this game. And Dodo just built a relatively straightforward army. Like, it's got an infestation pit, but it hasn't invested in... Oh, pardon me. It does actually have a hive yet. But, like, it's just sort of been pumping units on 5 bases despite this hiccup without having a Nidus to do speed mining from. Now, let's see, we do have a Thor on the way, but that Thor shall never be as that production structure gets forced off. A couple of bio units trying to be heroes. But yeah, Mulebot, it just doesn't have the income, doesn't have the supply. We do get another Nidus dropped from Dodo, so I'm wondering if that's going to solve that problem. Who knows? Maybe it'll just crash Dodo, as I imagine this is a fairly unique scenario. The drones are still popping in and out of the Nidus, but they are not actually mining. Okay, there goes in a bunch of new ones, and some of those new ones are going to mine. 2 of these other ones, like, we are not supposed to be here, and left. So the Nidus does seem to have been loaded up with extra drones, more than it needs. Probably the ones that were supposed to mine from that gold base, but it never happened. Then we do get some more drones that are popping out and taking the long way around. Meanwhile, Dodo does seem to just be winning this game, having good army grouping, and Mulebot just was a little too greedy, I think, in this match. Not producing tanks, getting aggressive with its army when it didn't have that much supply. And yeah, Dodo seems like quite a good Zerg bot. Definitely an interesting one to watch. As, yeah, there definitely is some extra drones in there. As what, there's only like 3 or 4 that are busy here. Occasionally the Nidus spits out more, so like I wonder if it's maxing out like the Nidus exit rate or something like that. I'm not sure how quick that is, but there is a limit to it. So in theory, there is a maximum amount of drones that you can have speed mining off of a Nidus. Dodo is taking its time cleaning everything up, and that is exactly what it shall do. Mulebot floating money. It's trying to build a new starport, actually at a base out here, which is cool to see. It decides to build a tank out here, so it's like, okay, maybe Mulebot's trying to make a comeback. It may be a little too late, though, as it's only at 49 supply, but I'm just pointing that out to highlight the good redundancy in the bot, not trying to rebuild in the main base that is oh so clearly not a good place to build. Dodo, though, does have 3-3 on the way. It's got just its healthy 6 bases. The Nidus seems to have stopped mining, which I guess is a result of this SCV here. Which, who knows, maybe Mulebot is trying to expand there. Where'd the one tank end up? Okay, the tank's gonna try and be a hero. As it just sort of sets up shop there. This base will be gutted. I believe that was a starport building. That shall no longer be. Or, pardon me, I believe something was building over there. We're getting more racks being added on, so just a really great showing of redundancy from Mulebot. Do I think that this is going to work? Probably not. But still, very cool to see. As it's just getting up more production. We're getting Widow Mines on the way. And then let's see, is this one tank going to be hunted down? The tank has been seen, so Dodo is going to go for that. The tank shoots. Hydras have vision from this mass amount of overlords, though. The tank does die. We do have another expansion going up for Mulebot, because what else are you going to do in this situation? And then Dodo is just still scouring the map. Overlords see everything at this point, flying over Widow Mines and turrets. Dodo's overlords don't care. And Nidus mining has resumed. But yes, a bit of a slower victory from Dodo to clean everything out, but I definitely enjoy watching these two play. A bit of a chaotic opening. It's not every game that you get double factory proxy tank attempt that just doesn't quite work, but yeah, glitchy, all-around, very bot game that was still quite exciting to see. Mulebot decides to get +3 armor, which is interesting. We've got another Liberator on the way, another tank on the way. As the red Terran bot just says, we will rebuild. But all that nice production is going down. Neural Parasite on the tank. It's now shooting its own eBay. Helping kill its final buildings. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in. You guys know the drill when it comes to supporting the channel. You guys are the absolute best at it. And all your support is appreciated. Yeah, GG. Just very cool game from both these bot authors. This game definitely was interesting to get more insight on Dodo's Nidus mining and just the sort of bugs that you can encounter as a programmer. Like, this is too many drones in here, all from that gold base that never happened. So maybe that's a trigger the bot author needs to add in when, like, a Nidus dies. Make sure those drones get out of there. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in. Take care.